Today on Dr. Phil, a bulimic mother whose baby almost died
He wasn't breathing. It was the worst feeling ever.
is having another child.
You made the decision to get pregnant knowing you were bulimic.
That's right.
Somebody's going to have to explain to me how that makes sense.
Plus, she thinks her daughter's lifestyle is devious.
I denied it because I was scared. I was afraid.
In our home, that is not acceptable.
I just think that you're dead wrong. Let's do it. Why don't we stop all the drama, stop all the fighting, and let's go get you better.
Here we go. Have a good show, everybody.
If I can help get this family back on track, are you willing to do that?
Pretty free. Take it.
This is going to be a changing day in your life. Go, Dr. Phil. There we are. All right. Lisa may look like a happy, young, nurturing mother, but simmering just beneath the surface is a secret so dangerous that the minute we read her email, we arranged for her to get on a plane. You see, Lisa revealed to us that she's bulimic. She gorges herself on tons of food, then throws it all up. She does this over and over again every single day. Lisa confessed that she never stopped the binging and purging, even when she was pregnant with their 2-year-old son, when she practiced this deadly ritual as often as 10 to 15 times a day. Take a look.
I've been binging and purging just about every single day for 5-6 years now. When I was pregnant with Tobias, I was bulimic. I was binging and purging up to 10-15 times a day.
It was really, really bad. She was out of control.
I probably spent about 80% of the day binging and purging.
No matter what I said, she would get angry, and I would just have to walk away.
I was worried that the baby wasn't getting enough food, so I tried to eat something right after I purged, and that's usually what would trigger another binge. It just became a vicious cycle. When I binge, I'll eat sandwiches, cookies, cereal, ice cream, pizza, popcorn, just anything that I can get my hands on.
I have seen her eat 4 hamburgers.
I found out that bulimia can give you a heart attack, it can give you a stroke, you can die at any moment.
I was so worried about her having a miscarriage.
I wanted to stop, but I just couldn't.
It was devastating. There was nothing I could do.
When Tobias was born, he didn't breathe for a few minutes. It was really scary. And I thought he was just gonna die. I knew it was all my fault.
Give me 5. Give me 5. Yeah! It's not just a gift that Tobias is healthy. It's a miracle.
Well, it gets worse. Lisa's shocking revelation is that she is currently 12 weeks pregnant, and she is still very much bulimic.
I'm 12 weeks pregnant with our second child. I thought having a second child would really solve my problems with bulimia. Getting pregnant hasn't taken care of my eating disorder. I just can't stop. I currently purge about 4 to 5 times a day. I don't binge and purge when I'm with other people. It only happens when I'm alone. And I drink soda with whatever I eat because it helps me to get rid of the food faster. I eat lunch, and most of the time I cannot keep that down. I go into the bathroom, turn on the shower, I turn on the fan so that nobody can hear me, and then I purge. I had pizza and I felt very full afterwards, so I went to get rid of it. I feel very guilty right now. I feel disgusting. I wish it would never happen again. I swear to myself it won't happen again, but it always does. I'm really scared for this baby because with Tobias, I really think we just got very lucky.
I feel very guilty that I can't make her stop. It's beyond my control.
Every time I purge, I think about how I just might have hurt the baby. I'm just really worried about how the baby's doing, if it's even alive.
Now, here's my first question, because I want to be sure I understand this right. You both consciously made a decision to get pregnant a second time, knowing that you were an active bulimic.
That's right.
So you knew that this disease had a grip on you. You knew that you were unable to stop, or at least had been unwilling to stop, and you got pregnant knowing that. Somebody's going to have to explain to me how that makes sense.
It all does not make sense. It was one night where I said, this is enough. You have to do something, you have to stop, and I don't care what it takes. So she packed her bags, she went to Mexico to live with her parents for a couple of weeks. When we were on vacation earlier this year in Mexico, her bulimic stopped. For 3 whole weeks, she did not have a single problem with it. So when this was so bad again, a couple months ago, I told her, pack your bags, go to Mexico, stay there until you have this resolved. She stayed there for a couple of weeks, she was fine again. Over the time she was in Mexico, that's where we found out she was pregnant.
You said it 3 times in a row. You keep repeating yourself. She went to Mexico.
Yeah.
Before she did well. She went back this time, she did well for a couple of weeks. Then you told me again, then you told me again, now you've told me for the 3rd time. Why are you telling me even the 1st time? This isn't responsive to my question. You made the decision to get pregnant knowing you were bulimic, knowing you had this disease. Tell me why. I want to know what your rationale was. Don't tell me about Mexico a 4th time. Why did you do it? Why did you decide? Did you think she would stop?
I think that she would stop so that she would come back from Mexico and she would stop and have a healthy pregnancy throughout the whole thing, and we'd be able to have another child happily.
Because she was pregnant the last time and she stopped.
She did not stop.
Of course she didn't. Listen, I'm pointing this out because your thinking, both of your thinking, is not rational and it's not productive. I have to get you out of your current mindset. I have to get you out of your current rationale, or we're not going to get any different result here, okay? Because you admit you're 12 weeks pregnant, but yet you're eating hamburgers, pizza, bologna, anything you can get your hands on, gorging yourself with it, and then throwing up every time you eat it, right?
Almost every time, yes.
Do you smoke?
Yes.
Did you just have a cigarette backstage?
Yes.
And you're 12 weeks pregnant?
Yes.
I know.
Okay, so your rationale is such that you'll put your own interest ahead of your child's. I mean, that's where we are, right? And you ran out of options. You didn't know what to do with the bulimia, so you thought, let's have a baby and see if that'll fix it. And if it doesn't, then you've got just another baby.
I know. I was out of options. I was totally
That wasn't an option. You were out of
I know.
options when you chose that. That wasn't on the options list. Let's see, get treatment, deal with underlying causation, educate ourselves and learn what's going on, have a baby. That wasn't on the list.
I do realize that, and I do know that. And, you know, it was a decision that should have not been made by us. But
Thank you.
I have called 911 on her. I have taken her into the hospital myself. We have seen a psychiatrist. We have seen a therapist. We have done everything on the list to try to get help for her. Nothing. It seems like she just goes in for the visit. When she comes home, that evening will be worse than any other day of the week.
Gotcha. Having a baby to fix the problem is irrational. But the baby is here, which means you have a duty. You guys as parents have a duty here, and I want to help you meet that challenge. I want to help you meet that duty. Now, Lisa admits her self-destructive behavior escalated after she gave birth to her son. So when we come back, we're going to find out what Lisa was doing the night she was so out of control that the police came and took her away. We'll be right back.
David had to call the police twice. I was taken to the hospital both times.
It's something that nobody should ever have to live through. It made me feel so guilty.
I feel that if I don't get my bulimia under control, I might lose Dave. It's put a lot of strain on our marriage.
I don't care how many fights we will have. I will stay by her side. I love her so much that there is no way that I can leave her.
All right, we're talking with David and his wife, Lisa, a mom who just confessed that she binged and purged during her entire first pregnancy. Now, she is 12 weeks pregnant with baby number 2. And between pregnancies, her behavior was just as frightening. Take a look at what else she was doing.
I know that I can't just have one drink. Once I have one, I need more. My drinking went from drinking on weekends to all of a sudden I was drinking every single night of the week.
She drinks liquor, whiskey, anything with alcohol in it.
I would drink all the whiskey every night, and sometimes I would go back for more. I can't control my drinking at all. Being drunk made me feel like it was okay to have an eating disorder. It made me care less about everything. After drinking a lot, I would take a knife and I would cut myself.
She will go violent. She will start cutting herself. She will just go out of control. She would take her nails and just scratch and scratch and scratch right till the skin was gone.
My drinking has gotten so out of control that David had to call the police twice. I was taken to the hospital both times.
It's something that nobody should ever have to live through. It made me feel so guilty.
I'm really scared that after this baby is born, I'm going to go back to drinking.
My greatest fear is that if she doesn't die from her eating disorder, she's going to die from drinking.
Okay, tell me what your theory is about the drinking. Well, you must have gotten a payoff from it. What was it? What were you getting out of that?
Nothing really in the beginning. The first drink would make me relax, and then I would just, after that I couldn't stop. I just had to keep drinking. It really did no good.
Well, you were getting something out of it, or you wouldn't do it over and over again.
I
It
needed
had to be
that
some
drink.
payoff.
I just felt like I needed that drink.
Who was taking care of the baby while you were drunk?
I would start drinking after he went to bed.
And if he woke up or something, what happened?
That's where I would have to come in place.
So you were unavailable if he wakes up sick or something like that in the night?
Well, I still knew what I was doing enough.
As far as
Not
you know.
really. Midnight, 2 o'clock in the morning, some nights there, she would not be conscious enough to take care of the baby.
I thought I was fine. I thought I was good enough to take care of him if he needed it.
Are you drinking now?
No.
Is she drinking now?
No, she's not.
Are you sure of that?
I'm sure. I never, before, I would see receipts from the alcohol getting delivered, laying around on the table, or I would see an empty bottle laying around or a half bottle in the fridge, or even though she would be hiding it, I know how she acts when she's had too much or when she's been drinking. She will start acting like a totally different person as soon as she's drinking, and now she is always acting normal as if she hasn't been drinking anything.
Why did you call 911?
Baby was asleep. She was going out of control.
Out of control how?
She was physically attacking me and slapping me, trying to punch me. There was nothing I could do. She wanted more food. She wanted more alcohol. And the baby was asleep. And she was cursing and swearing at me. There was no way I was going to go wake the baby and take her to the hospital myself and let my little child see this happen.
So what do you say about that? That you're so out of control, he has to call 911 to get you out of the house because the baby's going to be traumatized if he has to wake the baby up to take you somewhere.
I can't believe that I did that. I can't believe that it got that far.
But did it?
Yeah.
So you're saying I can't believe it in retrospect, but you believe it did happen.
I believe it happened, yeah.
And after the police came, you started to scratch the skin off your body?
Yeah.
Where? How did you do it?
I was in the ambulance and I was really mad at everybody and myself. So I was looking for something in the ambulance to try and cut or something that had nothing, so I scratched.
And where did you scratch yourself?
On the chest here.
Uh-huh. And do you realize that that is, again, irrational behavior?
Mm-hmm.
So there's an absence of rationality here in many of your decisions.
There was a couple times where two times I had to call 911 on her. Mm-hmm. One time, the second time was she was so intoxicated, she said, "I dare you to call 911." Well, she was out of control again. I had no other choice. The first time the police didn't come. The second time, the police did show up. And she was so out of control, and that when they took her to the hospital, she was cursing and swearing at the nurses. She was swinging, trying to punch the nurses, trying to keep them down. And they had to strap her down and keep her tied down all night in the bed. Mm-hmm. Where she
See, it seems like we're talking about a different person here.
I get like that when I drink.
So you change, you evolve,
she's a
devolve.
Totally different person when she's sober. And that's a problem. I figured if we had to call 911 on her twice, the doctors would look at her and say, well, this is enough. She needs treatment. She needs to go either to rehab. She needs to get some kind of help from somewhere. Mm-hmm. That maybe, I figured, that maybe enough's enough. So in the morning, after she sobered up, they had a suicidal person come in, take tests of her, and after it's all done, they're like, no, she's not suicidal anymore. Doctors threw it off. Okay, she can go home. And it happened every single time. Every time we went to the hospital, a couple times I took her there myself, a couple times the ambulance took her there, and every single time. In the morning, she's sobered up, she can go home.
And this is with a baby in the house.
Yes.
What do you think about that?
I think it's devastating.
I think it's terrible.
All right, coming up, their first son was not breathing when he was born. What David is worried about with this next child. We'll be right back.
A lot of times after I purge, I actually think I'm going to die. My heart beats way too fast, and I really think that I might all of a sudden have a heart attack. I don't want to call 911 because I'm afraid it might be a false alarm, so I just lie down and I try not to move. I think I'm harming my unborn baby. It's just very selfish of me to be doing that. I feel guilty for hurting everybody.
I feel helpless. I feel very guilty that I can't make her stop.
Why do you think you have resorted to bulimia, alcohol abuse, cutting, and violence towards yourself and others? All of those things, why?
I really don't know why. I've been so confused about it. It all started when I was 14. And it just got worse and worse.
What happened when you were 14 that made it start?
I just decided I wanted to lose some weight, and I stopped eating, and then from there it's just gotten worse and worse.
How does that relate to alcohol abuse and cutting?
I drank when I was a teenager. I drank a lot. I stopped drinking when we got married. I didn't drink for a while there, but then it got bad again.
Why do you cut?
I don't cut when I'm sober, but when I had been drinking, I got so angry at myself. So I don't know why, but I took a knife and I cut.
Where do you cut?
On my arm.
May I see it? So you've cut more than once.
Yes.
You don't like your thoughts either, do you? So what do you think? What do you think that upsets you so much?
The guilt. The people that I'm hurting. I'm just such a terrible person. I don't deserve to be here.
Tell me what you say.
I just hate me.
I didn't say tell me what you think. I said tell me what you say. You say it to yourself over and over. What do you say?
You're a loser. You're a terrible mom. You're a terrible wife. I don't deserve the family that I have.
Lisa, you were molested earlier in your life. You ever talk to yourself about that?
I didn't let myself think about it for a very long time. Since we got married, since having Tobias, and he's growing up, I think about it all the time.
What do you think?
He's so little, he's so innocent. How could anybody do that?
But they did it to you when you were a child, and you're thinking about it all again. You feel very alone with all of this, do you not? You feel alone with your bulimia. You started doing it, but pretty soon it started doing you, didn't it? At this point, to be completely honest, you couldn't stop if you wanted to.
I've tried everything.
And you're medicating yourself with alcohol, and you're treating yourself with cutting. You understand, you get into this anxiety storm in your brain, and it actually is a neurological storm in your brain. And if you cut yourself, then that is such a powerful and noxious stimulus that it breaks you out of that. That's why you say the anxiety dissipates. You get a physical pain, you get a physical sensation that is so powerful it overtakes the neurological storm you're in for anxiety, and it feels like relief. But that's not treating it. Now, you understand, when you did this before and had a child, he was born not breathing.
That was terrible.
Think of those few moments when Tobias was born and not breathing.
I just thought I loved him so much already, and I thought I wouldn't be able to ever tell him that. He was so adorable, but he wasn't breathing. And I knew that if he wouldn't start breathing, it would be all my fault. It was the worst feeling ever.
Do you fear that's going to happen again?
I fear that it's just not going to wake up this time.
And he was so tiny and innocent, and it was not his fault.
And it's not this baby's fault either.
I know.
And it wasn't your fault what happened to you when it happened to you. But somebody has to quit pointing a finger of blame, and somebody has to start doing something to change it. And I want to do that for you right now. And I'm going to tell you what I've done. I have arranged for you to be admitted immediately to a dual diagnosis bulimia program that has been developed especially for you. And this is a program that is going to deal with your alcoholism, it's going to deal with your bulimia, and it's going to deal with the mental and emotional issues that I believe stem from the fact that you were so terribly molested by a trusted person in your life. Now, Velvet Mangan is here, and she is the founder and CEO of the Safe Harbor Treatment Center for Women, which is a nationally recognized dual diagnosis treatment program. And this is for women. And it's in Costa Mesa, California. Velvet is here. There you are, Velvet. You've been listening to all of this. Thank you for doing it. Can you help her?
Absolutely. Her story's really not that uncommon. It's significant trauma manifesting in forms of trying to control the pain and suffering.
Yeah, it takes a lot of courage to come here. Mm-hmm. I assume in doing that you seriously want help.
Yes, I do, and that's the only reason I'm here. I've seen you help so many people.
Will you take that help?
Yes, I will.
Will you support her in doing that?
100%.
Now, she's going to be gone.
Let her be gone.
That means Tobias is your job, because he can't go with her.
I'll do whatever it has to do.
It's time for you to put this behind you, walk out of your history, and come present in your life.
It sounds so good, I can't even imagine it.
Well, you don't have to imagine, because you know what? It just happened. This just happened. Okay. All right, when we come back, meet a mom who thinks her daughter's lifestyle is devious and that signing her up for softball could have started the whole problem. We'll be right back.
I confronted Doreen.
I denied it because I was scared. I was afraid.
The thought of her lifestyle makes me sick to my stomach.
Well, Diane finds it difficult to accept her daughter Doreen's lifestyle, as she calls it. She thinks it's all started when she signed her up for softball.
Doreen was a perfect child growing up. She became interested in softball. I nudged her to be more interested in it because she was so talented.
I knew something was different about me. I would notice myself being attracted to women.
She became infatuated with one of her teammates. Some of the kids had seen Doreen and another girl kissing.
That was my first relationship with a girl. It felt good. It felt real.
I confronted Doreen. She denied being gay.
I denied it because I was scared. I was afraid. Growing up in a Christian household, I knew that it was a sin to be gay.
Doreen is gay, and the thought of her lifestyle makes me sick to my stomach. I believe that if I hadn't put her into softball, that she may not have been gay.
Softball did not contribute to me being gay. I was gay before I even started playing softball. It's something that you're born with, not a choice.
I did not choose to be straight. I believe everyone is born straight. I believe that homosexuals are similar to drug addicts, alcoholics, people who have addictions. They're looking for something.
My mom has tried to convert me from gay to straight by taking me to therapy.
I believe Doreen could stop being gay.
To me, that was just really ridiculous.
Doreen, she's so beautiful. She could get any man. We will never accept homosexuality. I feel like I've lost my daughter.
My mom just needs to know that this is who I am and who I was made to be. And if I could change who I am, I would, but I'm sorry.
Well, okay, we heard from you in the tape, so let me hear from you now. What do you think about what your mother is saying and how she feels about all of this?
I just feel, I resent myself. I feel confused and ashamed.
What are you ashamed of?
Who I am.
And who are you? Who are you that you're ashamed?
A lesbian.
And you're ashamed of that because why? Because of what your mother's saying? Because of what you think, feel, believe? What you've been taught? Tell
What
me.
I've been taught and how I make my mother feel. And what I am how it's looked as from the Christian community.
Right. And how do you feel about her reactions here?
Well, I know that that's how she feels, and I know it hurts her. I reacted in anger, you know, just very upset, not understanding why she would choose this, because I believe it's a choice. And I just don't understand that. When she was a little girl, she was the perfect little girl, and she was a little girl, you know. And then I started to notice things at a certain age when she started playing softball.
Because you say flat out, you just will not accept gay.
Yes.
That's just, if that's who she is, what does that mean? If she's gay, you're done with her?
No, oh no. I just will not accept the relationship with whomever she's having a relationship with.
Okay, but you think that she got on this softball team and she met people or a person on that softball team that caused her to be gay?
Yes, I think that contributed to it.
I know who I am, and I feel inside that these feelings I feel for women are real. And it's not because of softball. I wouldn't want to live a lie, and that's how I honestly feel. And I'm telling you the truth.
But you said you didn't know who you were. You said, I'm confused. I don't know how I feel. I don't know what I think. Now you're speaking with more clarity.
Well, I'm saying I feel like I am confused because because I want to please my mom. I wish I was straight, and I wish I could be, and I could change myself, but I feel that this is who I am.
But your thought is if she will see a competent counselor, they will unravel all this confusion for her and the false sense of security she has in romantic relationships with women, and then it will all come clear to her that she's straight as a string and she'll get on with her life.
Yes.
Okay, well, let's talk about what I think about all that when we come back.
It's frustrating that my mom doesn't approve me being gay. I start asking myself, why am I here? And I told my mom, I said, I wish you would have known that I was gonna be gay when I was born, so you could have aborted me. I wouldn't be here. And to put you through this.
Well, we're back with Diane, who says she does not accept the fact that her daughter Doreen is gay and will not accept the fact that she is gay. She wants her to do what is necessary to overcome the influences that have confused her and caused her to make that choice in her life. What else contributed to it?
We didn't find out till much later, she was molested by my brother.
And you think that contributed to her
I think,
shunning men
yes,
and feeling safer with women.
yes, I really think that.
So you think this is just a maladaptive reaction to things that have happened in her life? So it would be a maladjustment, and that it needs to be treated, sorted out, and then she goes on with her life.
Yes. In our home, that is not acceptable. She, you know, her girlfriend will not be welcome in our home as, you know, like a heterosexual relationship. But what she does is her business. But I want her to confront this molestation once and for all and deal with it. However, you know, whatever it takes to help her.
Well, let me ask you this. If you believe that this is, in fact, a maladjustment that would respond to treatment and correction, why would you not have compassion for her? If you think she's sick, if you think she's confused, why would you judge her and reject her instead of supporting her?
Well, I'm not rejecting her. I'm rejecting her lifestyle.
Well,
that
you don't let her
lifestyle
around
has,
nieces, you don't let her around family members. That is rejection. You're saying, look,
No,
you're
she-
not okay.
We're not saying Doreen cannot come around.
So are you, but is your fear that she might talk them into it?
No, no.
Or that might model it
But
for them?
yes,
and-
that they see it as being healthy and a normal thing, and we don't believe that that is healthy and normal.
I'm very sorry that I'm going to disappoint you about this, but I just think that you're just dead wrong. I'm serious, I do. And understand, I come from the field of psychology, and until 1975, this was considered a mental illness. But because of science, because of research,
And because of media and media bias and all that. I've read all that, Dr. Phil. Society has been told by Hollywood and the world that it's okay and it's normal, you know, so I understand
and you
all
think
that.
that's just media bias?
Yes, and it's you know, it's training society to believe that it's healthy and normal when millions die. You know, I don't understand that.
Millions die.
Yes, from HIV/AIDS.
Well, let me be clear about one thing you're saying, because up until 1975, homosexuality was considered to be a disorder. And in 1975, there was a groundbreaking statement by the American Psychological Association that said homosexuality per se implies that no impairment in judgment, reliability, or general social or vocational capabilities, and that mental health professionals should take the lead in removing the stigma of mental illness long associated with homosexual orientation. And, you know, that term, even homosexual, which was used at that time, is not really an accepted term in this day and time, but I read it because I want to be accurate with what they said.
I just believe in my God-given conscience that that's not what God intended. I mean, you know what, it's going to happen, but to me, just because a lot of people do it doesn't make it right.
I understand that, and believe me, listen, I am very much Christian, and I respect your religious beliefs. I also believe that if you look at what we now know, that to just blatantly say this is not a normal thing for her to do is ignoring a vast body of information and research that I think that you should take into account. What if asking her to deny who she is and pursue a romantic relationship with a man, what if that is unnatural to her, as if we were going to take you and put you in therapy with the goal of having you have romantic feelings towards women?
That
Can
is
you
not
even
my
imagine?
intention.
But can
No.
you even imagine that?
No.
You would feel like a complete fraud, would you not? If you did it.
I guess you could say yes, but there are ex-homosexuals who have done that. So You know, I see that as proof that it is a choice.
Yeah, I don't believe there's any such thing as ex-gay. I think they may have thought they were at some point and then determined that they weren't, and that's fine. I think you've got to meet yourself where you are. And I think where you are this is an unambiguous reality for you, correct? And to try to get you to behave otherwise would be what? Difficult?
Devastating.
Yeah, to deny who you are. All right, let's take a break. Everybody take a deep breath. Next, we're going to talk to Doreen's girlfriend. She says she's been called a lot of names. We'll be right back.
Anna and I have been together for 10 years. I can't imagine my life without her. My mom doesn't support my relationship with Anna.
Anna's been nothing but a bad influence.
She's called me fat, she's called me a slut, an uneducated wetback.
I wish they would break up. I would like my daughter back.
Recently, Anna and I got engaged. I have not told my family that I'm engaged. I'm afraid that if I tell them, they may disown me.
Diane needs to know that we are going to be together forever, and she needs to get over it.
Now, Anna says Diane shouts nasty names at her. This is Anna, is that true?
Yes.
What does she say to you?
She calls me fat, a slut, a whore, a chaba.
She's called me worse.
Yes, I have called you worse, but I also wrote you a letter, an apology letter, a few weeks ago,
about
apologizing.
a couple of weeks ago, before we were going to be on the show.
Yeah.
I never, ever went to confront her or hurt her or say anything bad to her.
You're lying.
Whatever,
You used to go to my house all the time.
It was between me and Doreen. If Doreen and I were texting, and then I would get a text and it would be Anna. I never, ever went out of my way to attack her because it's her business.
You would go to my parents' restaurant all the time and tell my mom stuff.
Sorry, what are you saying? I'm sorry.
She would always go to my parents' restaurant and tell my mom everything. She would write me nasty emails telling me that I'm going to rot in hell, that what we're doing is not right.
I've never called her names to her face. And when I went to her mother's home, it was to show her mother a letter that she wrote, a vulgar letter to Doreen, saying that she couldn't wait for her to her, and just really, really disgusting.
Well, what do you say about all of this?
It's crazy. It's stressful for me. And I feel like I'm my worst enemy right now because I'm not at peace with myself. And I feel like I have no support from my family at all.
And what are you at war with yourself about?
I ask myself, why am I here? Why was I created? If I was going to be gay, if, I have to struggle like this the way I do. And I blame myself.
For
me being gay. I just blame myself, and I wish I could be straight so I wouldn't have to deal with all of this.
See, what if blaming yourself for being gay is like blaming yourself for being tall? You can't get shorter. Let me give you some good news. Because you don't feel like you're getting very good news from me, are you?
No, not really.
Not really, that's okay. Listen, I take very seriously, and I think she says she's confused, and I don't judge you because I think you're confused, and I think you mean well. I really do. I disagree with you, and that's my right. But I said I was going to give you some good news. The good news is if you're right, if this is just a phase, if she isn't lesbian, if she is in fact just confused, that will sort out. Let me tell you what I do agree with your mother about. I do agree with your mother that given that you have been molested, that really changes who you are. Seriously, it does. I mean, it causes you to think about things differently, and when it happens at a young age, it can create some cognitive patterns, some thought patterns that are just inaccurate and can program you, set you up to make some really bad choices in your life. Creates a wound that needs healing. And you really do need help with that. If that has not been dealt with, if you've not had specialized help that deals with survivors of molestation and helps them to regain their focus, then you really would benefit from that. And I would be more than happy, as my gift to you, is to arrange that kind of specialized help for you, to work with you to help sort that out. What do you think?
I like that.
Which part?
I mean, getting help with my molestation.
You
and
need
healing
that, don't
from
you?
that. Yeah.
You need that, don't you? And if right now she says, look, I just can't bring full acceptance to her relationship with Anna, okay? You've got to give her that right. That doesn't mean that you can't relate to her. She doesn't have to love everything about you, and you don't have to love everything about her. But the mother-daughter relationship should remain intact here. You need your mom, and your mom needs you.
I do, and that's why I'm here. I do need her, and her love, and her affection.
But you can't reject her just because she rejects your girlfriend. You can't reject her just because she rejects that relationship. Respect her enough to give her a chance to work with this.
Okay.
And you two stay together here, okay? You two stay together. We'll be right back. I want to thank all of our guests today, especially Velvet Mangan, founder of Safe Harbor Treatment Center for Women in Costa Mesa, California. Go to drphil.com where you can find so much more about this, including a section where moms can share their own revelations. You can always find me on Twitter and Facebook. I pay attention to what you guys are talking about and what you say, and if you go to those sites, you know that sometimes I pop in there and we have a very lively discussion. So maybe I'll see you there. Thanks for being here today. So long.